Bhante, we come from an environment where it's kind of an urban environment that we live in, right? Especially at least in Buddhist Maha Vihara in KL. You don't find or ever find a monk of any repute over the many years I've been here to actually say what you mentioned, the values that a bhikkhu should carry in him, or what a good bhikkhu is. So then what happens to us as lay people? How do we practice when the people we look up to already themselves are not practicing what the Buddha taught? So how do we take it from here? We are lucky today that we have you, but you're only here temporarily, you're not here all the time. So we are blessed that you're here to tell us some things that we need to learn and hear. But beyond this, then what happens? How do we take it forth from here?
I'm actually having an emotional reaction to what you said. It's literally, I'm getting goose flesh as you're saying these words because of the significance of what it is you just shared and the honesty with which you opened up and shared, because this is not something that only is occurring with you here in this room. I believe it is occurring with every one of you. And what I would add to that, please, Elezi, you can sit down, unless you have more follow-up, which you can do from there. What I was saying is, in my travels around the world, in different viharas, I have seen individuals who have, and conversed with individuals who probably at most, and the most daring among them, probably said maybe 25% of what you just shared with us. This is a problem that is global, this is a problem that is universal, and this is a problem that we need to, using an English term, nip it in the bud. We have to take care of it as soon as possible. And you'd be surprised how much power you have as lay people. You are our bhikkhu's life source. What you have, and this is given what we've been experiencing in recent times, and some of which you know personally in regards to my situation as a person, as a bhikkhu. We've discussed this last year's when I gave a Dhamma talk virtually for Buddhist Maha Vihara with the theme of can we investigate our teachers? And Brother Leslie has been kind enough to post it very quickly when I gave it. So it's available on BMV's YouTube channel, where I went all out, which I believe was also the instigator for you to think about, Bhante Candana in Malaysia, is that even possible? That's where I think you had the idea of sharing with me. Now, how does that relate to what you said? Earlier I gave the example of you being lay people. You come from different professions, maybe students, but mostly professionals, who have had a professional life with responsible roles. At the very least, being parents. I say very least, but you know how time-consuming and energy-consuming that is. But on top of that, being a professional, running a business. I ran my own business when I was 18. I had my own business. Remember the jewelry design thing? Straight out of high school, at 18 years old, I established my name and started earning a living. This was back in Lebanon, Beirut, after I left the monastery. I know how it is involving for you to think about, okay, do I have enough money in the bank to pay for mortgage? Do I have enough money to get food for my children, to pay for their schooling? How about their college? What if they want to go overseas? if you have a business, you have employees. Well, what if you didn't make any money? Well, you had over 2 years of lockdown, barely able to make ends meet. How are you going to pay rent for your house or mortgage and for your business? Plus, you have employees. You have to pay them, their payroll, taxes and whatnot. Plus, I haven't talked about food. So what I'm talking about is accountability. That is what we are talking about. That is the elephant in the room. Because if I were a layperson, and I was a layperson for many years, and I would see the problem that you just pointed out, and that I've been talking about for almost 2 hours, is the elephant in the room that nobody wanted to talk about. Is the bhikkhu living according to the standards set down by Lord Buddha? The answer was no. But at least there's a bhikkhu. At least there's a temple I can go to. Urban environment. Where else am I going to go? I feel committed to this because it's my parents' tradition, or I have faith in Lord Buddha, something that keeps me. But at the same time, every time I'm there, every time I leave, I feel like I betrayed the Buddha. Every time I feel I betrayed the Dhamma. But this is what my parents did. They made offerings, and I guess this is okay. One day maybe when I die, I'm going to experience bliss of Nibbana. All that nonsense. Imagine Lord Buddha saying to his students, yeah, give the dana, practice some sila, and wish for the next life for you. Yeah, bliss Nibbana, Nibbana bliss. Yeah, go. Next. That is what's happening. We have eyes, we see, no? Now, when you have a tumor, what do you do? If you're a surgeon, what do you do? Yep. You gentlemen over there, you cut it out. Well, that's not unique to one person. We all agree to that. If you have an employee that doesn't work, but every month, every week, or every 2 weeks, you pay them their salary. But they don't work. They come and sit. Or you have a tutor. Some of us have tutors, maybe. You go to school and you need an extra help. You hire someone. Teach me computers. Teach me this. Imagine the person comes and you pay them $50 a month or whatever it is, and you still get a bad grade. Or you don't learn the foreign language. What do? Do you still keep them? Or do you fire them? That is what Venerable Moggaliputta Tissa did. Fired them. Thankfully, we're not Emperor Ashoka where we chop the heads off. We don't want that. You know, Panatipata Veramani, we practice non-harm, non-killing. But we are doing something far worse if we see the problem and we don't do anything about it. Now, the problem also is the loyalty. In Asian culture, I come from an Armenian culture, so it's very close to the Asian culture. So we have a tremendous connection with loyalty of your culture, your ethnicity, ethnic background, heritage. So it's like, if you denounce that, if you reject that, it's like death. So we have to hold true to our ancestors, who we are, our belief systems. So we, by mistake, equate the two together. We say, it's okay, let me sacrifice some Dhamma to save the culture. That is the kiss of death to the Dhamma, as they say. That is the surest way to make sure that we are making the tumor get bigger and eat the whole person up. Because we are now taking part in the destruction of the Dhamma, because we didn't say anything. We didn't say anything. In legal terms, if someone is caught killing someone, and someone else was there, saw it, but they didn't touch, they didn't do anything, but they knew, and they don't come out, they don't come forward, they don't say anything to anyone. Once the legal entities find out, that person becomes a culprit. Maybe he didn't pull the trigger, he didn't kill the person, but he had the opportunity to stop it. Or at least to let them know. In therapy, we have something similar. A person comes and says, oh, help me because my wife or my husband beats me. Because now, by the way, women also beat men, you know. It's 50-50. You'd be surprised. Men don't report it in the US. They don't report domestic violence because they're afraid because of shame. Because everyone will laugh at you. You're 6'5", you mean to say this 5 foot something who was beating you? I don't believe you. Go home. The man has an axe, has a knife on his neck, but it's like, they don't believe. So, coming back to the point, the person says, I'm being abused. Or my child never listens to me. I say, okay, what do you do in turn? They say, well, when they come and ask me, Daddy, Daddy, Mommy, Mommy, buy me this. I need this. Oh, please, Mommy, buy me this. I go ahead and buy them that. I say, what did you teach this child? You taught your child that it is okay to insult you. Just like the person who comes and says, my husband beats me, or my wife beats me. Why are you there? Or in the session, they would start defending them. And there's no reason for defending, because this has been happening again and again and again. And they're totally unhappy, and that's why they're showing up for therapy sessions. And this is called placating in English. Placating means you are allowing them, you are supporting them to be this way. In answer to your question. So if I see the tumor and I have the ability to cut it off, and I'm promoting it, I'm not saying anything about it. In fact, I'm opening my doors for more such entities to come. I don't see it to be any more 100% of the fault to be laying on that group of people anymore, who are not following the Buddha's instructions, because that is what they're being taught. Because in Asia, typically in Asia, what you have, it doesn't have to be Sri Lanka. You see the same thing in Cambodia, you see it in Vietnam, you see it in Thailand, you see it in Burma especially, and Sri Lanka, of course, where a family has 8, 10, 12 children in the villages. The smartest child is not going to be sent to the monastery. Oh no, it's the opposite. The smartest is going to be, the family is going to work hard to send him to a good school so that he could become, or she could become, a doctor or something, a lawyer. The dumbest is going to be sent to the monastery. I'm sad to say, this is again and again you see this. They're going to be sent to the monastery because it's free education, and he has a chance to make it big, and one day to become a Mahatera, to become an abbot, to have a monastery of his own. And guess what? They will. They will. This is set. This has been going on not just recently. This has been going on for centuries, and not just in Sri Lanka. This has happened starting from India. That's why we lost the Dhamma in India. Completely. Completely. It was gone. So there is a system that we are allowing, we are nurturing by our silence. Because everybody's saying, you do something about it. Unfortunately, I'm the only bhikkhu I know who talks about this. I've never heard any bhikkhus mention. In fact, many bhikkhus said, don't talk about vassas. Why? I mean, in life, if someone is being indecent to you, harsh to you, disrespectful, do you tolerate it? If a friend, somebody that's a friend of yours, is disrespectful, insults you, do you keep them as your friend? So what's the difference here? My clothing style is different? I'm a bhikkhu, now you should be okay with that? No! The same standards have to be followed in answer to your question. You have the permission. That's why I wanted to start these series with these specific suttas, because I don't choose suttas randomly. They have to have a purpose, based on what we are seeing. So I'm hoping that these will allow you, give you the permission, not just you, Brother Leslie. You have the courage to come out and say it. And I love that you did have the courage to say it, because you verbalized many people's thoughts. I know people in America don't have the guts to say this. They don't. Unfortunately, they've been taking on a new religion called now Dhamma or Buddhism, replacing their old religion, but it's the same system. My parents used to say to run from the rain only to get caught in a hailstorm. That's an Armenian saying. To run away from something only to get caught in something even worse. So, you have so much power, it's amazing. But if you don't do it, you are actually placating. You're causing the problem to perpetuate. And for the virus, that is a pandemic, by the way. That is a real pandemic in my book. Because something bad will happen to the Dhamma because of this. And that's a real virus for me. And that's one of the reasons why I try to do my small part in whatever energy, however energy I have left in me, and risking it all. And that's why I am homeless. Literally, I don't have a home. But I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. Because Lord Buddha's Dhamma is alive. And they might turn me away from all temples. Dhamma in my heart is my home. The Dhamma is safe.